Today I'm going to show you how to do something very similar with a bird feeder. It'll be a nice little complementary unit you could put near or even just across the yard from your birdhouse. So let's do that. Now I'm going to be building this project with a bunch of scrap leftovers I have from previous projects, but you can run out to your store and build this with one cedar picket. We first want to start off with the base of the feeder. We want to measure this out to about 8.5 inches, make a mark, and go cut it. Next up, we want to cut out the sides. We want these to be about 7 inches long. These scrap pieces are just a hair longer. I'm going to cut them down. But I also want to have a 20-degree angle on each top edge. So I'm going to cut both of these out at the same time so they match. Now that we have these sides cut out, we need to cut out 2 more, but they're going to be a little bit more narrow and not as tall. So we want to judge roughly 3/4 of an inch from the bottom down here and cut the top. In my case, it's going to be about 5 inches, and it's going to be roughly 4 1/4 across. So let's do that. Now, doing a quick test fit, I'm coming up 3/4 of an inch here on the sideboard, and you'll notice that there's still a little bit of a gap over here between the two of these. For 2 reasons. One, it'll allow for some additional venting. Also, it'll allow, when the roof goes on, that it will not intersect this side piece. So better to be a little bit short than to have problems. We're next going to cut the roofs. I'm going to take these and measure them up, and I'm going to need these about 8 inches wide. I'm going to need one for each side so they come to a nice little peak. Now we're just going to test fit the roof pieces. They're definitely wide enough, but the angle here is not set yet. We need to cut a 20-degree angle like we did here, but on the edge of both of these. I'm going to be cutting this down on the miter saw. Now keep in mind that the miter saw is usually set up for cross cuts, not really long cuts like this, so it's a little dangerous, so be careful if you're going to do this. Now here's a little quick test fit, and that's going together quite nicely. Alright, now that we have the roof basically done, we need to create a little border that goes around the side, and this will keep the bird seed from falling out as the birds are eating it. So we're going to take some of the scrap leftovers, and we're going to try and trim these out, have one coming out on each side and one across the front. Now that we have these cut out, again, they're roughly 1 inch tall, and I have this one at 1.5 inches, and I have the long pieces at 4 1/4. So we're going to just line these up. Everything should fit. If it doesn't fit 100%, you don't have to worry about it. In fact, I think mine is slightly too long, but just remember, this is going to be outside in the weather, birds on it, possibly pooing on it. So as long as you get pretty close, it should look right. Next up, we want to attach all the walls together, but we first want to determine exactly the width. I like to keep mine as wide as possible here so we can have as much bird seed in here, but if you want to make this a little bit narrower, you can. That'll allow less food storage, but it'll also allow a little more space for the birds. That's totally up to you. Now we're going to come up 3/4 of an inch again so that we have plenty of room for the bird seed to pass.